or talk a little bit about garnishments. Now, I've been getting a few people that are saying that, hey, my wages are being garnished just out of the blue. Now, when it comes to wage garnishments, you need some type of court order. Some judge had to sign off on the wage garnishment. So if you went to court and you didn't plead your case right, or whatever the case may be, or you're saying that you never got an invitation to court, you don't know, you didn't even know you owed the debt until your wages started being garnished. Well, if that's the case, I would suggest that you go directly to the source. Find out what judge, if it's your bank, if it's your employer that are allowing another company or allowing this debt collector or creditor to garnish your wages. I would ask for the court order that allowed them to do so, because you can't garnish anybody's wages without a judge signing off on it. So this is why I always stress that if you are being sued, you respond, because it's not going to get it's not going to go away. You're either going to you're going to have some type of consequences if you don't show up. All right, you're going to get some type of default judgment, and garnishing your wages is probably going to be one of them. So if you don't respond, that's on you, right? So don't say that, hey, out of the blue, my wages were getting garnished, and you knew that you had a court order to appear to. So I want to bring up this article because the CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, is a federal bureau that is put in place to protect us. This is somewhere that we can complain to. So I wanted to bring up this article because it says the CFPB orders Bank of America to pay $10 million penalty for illegal garnishments. Just because they're doing something does not mean that it's lawful. And again, if you don't show up to court, you won't be able to fight it anyway. You won't be able to say, no, this is unlawful. No, according to this statute or this code, X, Y, and Z. You won't be even able to plead your case if you do not show up, because a lot of the times these companies are doing unlawful practices, and the way that they're getting away from it or getting away with it is either one or two things. Is because we don't show up. We ignore. Remember, acquiescence. That's what it's called. When you fail to respond, you agree with what they're talking about via acquiescence. You're saying nothing. So okay, because you're saying nothing, your silence is your agreement. Your silence, you being silent about something, you not fighting against something, is saying that, okay, well, I can just assume that everything that we're bringing forth to you is accurate. Unless you say, oh, no, I'm going to respond. I'll see you in court. This is unlawful. This is not accurate. Okay? But you have to give yourself a chance to respond, a chance to fight against these companies, right? Yes, the CFPB orders Bank of America to pay a $10 million penalty for illegal garnishments. Congress writes the law, is up to us to enforce it. Nobody at the courthouse, the judge, nobody is going to watch any court case. They don't help the plaintiff and they don't help the defendant. Why? Because it's up to you to know the law. You came in here, hire an attorney or educate yourself. It's one or the two. Okay? So if they were doing something unlawful or they weren't doing something unlawful, well, you didn't show up to defend yourself. Let's get into what happened. Okay, so they deceiving customers about their rights. Bank of America falsely represented to customers that their rights to have certain funds exempted from garnishment were governed by the law of the issuing court state. By stating to its customers that it applied the exemption law of the garnishment issuing state, Bank of America misrepresented to customers that their rights to have certain funds exempted from garnishment orders were governed by the laws of the issuing states, when actually in most states, customers' own state laws apply. imposing enforceable clauses to take it or leave it customer contracts. Bank of America required customers to direct it not to contest garnishment orders and to waive the company's liability for its actions regarding the out-of-state garnishment orders. Now, I want to really stop here because it says to contest garnishment orders and to waive the company's liability for its actions regarding the out-of-state garnishment orders. So this is what they were getting customers to sign off on or agree on. But at the same time, remember, these are things that you have to agree to. These are the things that you have to agree to. For example, like in a class action lawsuit, for example, you have the right to say, oh, no, 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 no. I don't want to participate in this class action lawsuit. Obviously, there's something that you did wrong. After this, I'm going to opt out of this class action lawsuit and I'm actually going to go after you myself. You have that right. But again, if you don't say anything, when you read those class action lawsuits, if you don't say, because I've been in a few, if you don't say, hey, I want to opt out, that means, okay, well, you agree with what's going on and you're going to automatically be a part of it. Whereas you could say, oh no, I opt out, and then whatever that summary is, whatever that lawsuit that you read afterwards, you use that and you go after them yourself. So remember, we give these companies, we agree with these companies when we're silent, right? And when we just signing things. We don't know what we signing, we just signing them. This prevented customers from pursuing legal claims against Bank of America for improperly handling garnishments. Bank of America also represented to its customers that they waived their right to hold the company liable for improperly responding to garnishment notice. However, account holders have the right to challenge garnishments despite any language in their account agreements to the contrary. So Congress, I mean, the CFPB is telling you right here how much power you hold when it comes to, okay, yeah, I signed this, I so-called agreed to it, but at the same time, I still have rights to challenge these things despite the language in the agreement. Failing to adhere to consumer protections governing customers' bank accounts. Bank of America acted on garnishment orders without disclosing that the accounts were located out of state and protected from the issuing court's garnishment orders. Bank of America applied the consumer protections and exemption rights of the state that issued the garnishment order and not those of the state where the individual lived. As a result, it improperly held, froze, and eventually turned over its customers' funds to judgment creditors. Wow. So imagine your garnishes being your wages being garnished, and as a result, it improperly held, froze, and eventually turned over its consumers' funds to judgment creditors. Okay. The enforcement action that was taken under the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act. Again, if you are a victim, I will go ahead and read these acts. I know y'all like to say, well, I'm not paying nobody to fix my credit. I'm not paying nobody to do this. I'm not paying nobody to understand consumer law. You don't have to. The law is free. So go ahead and read it and interpret it and make something of it if you don't want to pay anybody, okay? The CFPB has the authority to take action against institutions violating consumer financial laws, including engaging in unfair, deceptive, and abusive acts or practices. The CFPB's order requires Bank of America to refund at least $592,000 in garnishment-related fees to harmed consumers. Bank of America must refund or cancel all unlawful garnishment-related fees, fix its broken garnishment process, eliminate unenforceable clauses from its contracts. Remember, and we're not going to go over contract law because this is about garnishments, but I will be doing a class on contract law because a lot of the times when you're dealing with an alleged debt that you're trying to fight or that somebody is saying that you owe, 9 times out of 10 that company is going to hire what's called a contract lawyer. And if you don't know contract law, you're going to be out of the loop in the whole case. Okay? So outside of the Truth in Lending Act, which governs all consumer credit uh, um, contracts, okay, you still need to know contract law on top of that. So that is a good thing to know. And then pay a $10 million fine. Okay, so that's what happened when it came to the CFPB order, the CFPB's order to pay illegal garnishments. Okay, so with that being said, I will see you guys in the next video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Again, if you have any questions, you can let me know in the comment section below. Follow me over on Instagram because that is where I am most active. Everything needed is in the description box below, and I'll see you on the next video.